Once the lockdown is over, there's gonna be a ton of phone launches. And honestly, after staying put at home and being bored out of my mind, I'm really looking forward to all these new releases. Hey guys, Amar here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up enjoying this video, then please consider subscribing and turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Kicking things off, we have the Redmi K30 Pro and K30 Pro Zoom. They've already been launched in China. Now let's see if and when they make their way to India. Some reports have been suggesting that the K30 Pro may indeed be the Poco F2. In that case, I'd be really excited to know what price it launches in India at. Of course, a quick reminder for any of you guys who might not remember, design-wise, the K30 Pro series looks like the Redmi K30 or well, the Poco X2 from the back. To the front, we have an all-screen 6.67-inch AMOLED panel with a pop-up selfie camera similar to the K20 Pro. No high refresh rates though, so that's a bit of a bummer. As far as the specs go, we have the Snapdragon 865 combined with 6 or 8 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of storage. So there is one thing worth mentioning here. The 6 plus 128 gig RAM variant comes with LPDDR4X RAM and UFS 3.0 storage, while the higher 8 plus 256 gig variant comes with the newer LPDDR5 RAM and faster UFS 3.1 storage. Now, I saw a few comments in my OnePlus video over the two different RAM technologies being used in the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro. But guys, here's the thing. Yes, LPDDR5 is faster and newer technology, but in real life scenarios, you won't really be able to feel the difference. Of course, the faster UFS 3.1 storage might lead to quicker app loading times. But anyways, that went off on a tangent. So coming back, we have a 64 megapixel primary sensor on the Redmi K30 Pro. Along with that, we have a 13 megapixel ultra-wide, a 5 megapixel macro, and finally a 2 megapixel depth sensor. We of course have the K30 Pro Zoom as well. That has the same 64 megapixel primary camera, now with dual axis OIS, the same 13 megapixel ultra-wide and 2 megapixel depth, plus an 8 megapixel optically stabilized 3x telephoto camera. Coming to the price, we expect the K30 Pro to come to India at around the 32 to 35k mark. Moving on, we have the Pixel 4a. Now the Pixel 4 didn't make it to India, probably because Google couldn't get permission for their Project Soli sensors to work here. But then, we are pretty confident that the Pixel 4a, that is, the budget Pixel, will be arriving to India soon. Going by the leaks, we are looking at a plastic build with a square camera bump to the back that holds just a single 12 megapixel camera. On the front, we might see a 5.81-inch OLED screen with a punch hole that holds the 8 megapixel selfie shooter. It looks like Google has decided against an in-display fingerprint scanner, so the Pixel 4a would probably be sporting a capacitive sensor to the back. As far as the processor goes, we're looking at a Snapdragon 730 with 6 gigs of RAM and 64 or 128 gigs of UFS 2.1 storage. Powering all of this should be a 3080 mAh battery, quite small by modern standards, and we also have a headphone jack. Overall, since there are no rumors of the Pixel 4a XL, I would suppose that both Google and Apple are concentrating on smaller sized phones for their budget lineup. Heck, they're even supposed to be priced the same, $399. That being said, I would expect that the Pixel 4a would launch at a slightly lower price point than the iPhone SE 2020. So somewhere around 40k maybe. Moving on, we also have a new Moto flagship. After a disappointing couple of years, Moto is looking to turn things around with the Moto Edge Plus. The big draw here is the edge-to-edge 6.7-inch Full HD Plus OLED panel. This display curves over the edges like we see on the Infinity panels on Samsung's flagship S series. Moto has built a few unique software features around it, like edge lighting that acts as a notification LED. We also have a 90Hz refresh rate here. Inside, we are looking at a Snapdragon 865, 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, and a 5000 mAh battery to power it all. When it comes to charging speeds, we have an 18-watt wired fast charger, as well as up to 15 watts of wireless Qi charging. We also get reverse wireless charging up to 5 watts. As far as cameras go, we see a quad camera setup to the back of the Moto Edge Plus, the primary being a 108 megapixel optically stabilized shooter, along with an OIS-enabled 8 megapixel telephoto that can do up to 3x optical zoom. We also get a 16 megapixel ultra-wide and a fourth time-of-flight sensor. The selfie shooter is a 25 megapixel affair. The US price of the Motorola Edge Plus is $999, which converted to INR comes around 76,000. That's pretty expensive even for a flagship. So I hope that Moto prices it more sensibly in India than they did with the Moto Razr. Now, we have also got the cheaper Moto Edge. This misses out on some of the flagship features like the processor and the fancy cameras. We do have the same display as before, this time with a mid-range Snapdragon 765G running the show. Along with that, we have 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, with expandability offered through a micro SD card slot. The optics seem to be pretty similar, except that we have a 64 megapixel main camera this time round. The battery is a tad smaller at 4500 mAh, and while it does retain the 18-watt wired charging, there is no wireless charging capabilities baked in. We have the European pricing for the Moto Edge, 699 euros or around 58,000 INR. Seems a bit too expensive for a phone with middle-of-the-road internals. Coming to flagships, there's a new foldable from Samsung that's supposed to launch soon. The rumors around the Galaxy Fold 2 speak about the notch in the inside display being replaced by a punch hole camera. We might also see a 7.59-inch 2213 by 1689 pixel OLED display on the inside, probably covered by the same thin glass that we saw on the Galaxy Z Flip. This might also be a 120Hz panel. The biggest upgrade though seems to be the front display. Leaks hint towards a 60Hz 6.23-inch IPS panel up front, again with a punch hole to the top. We have also heard rumors that the new Galaxy Fold might include a S Pen, so looks like Samsung is doubling down on the productivity aspect this time round. We'll also probably get the latest Snapdragon 865 processor in here. Based on these leaks, the Fold 2 looks like the most exciting foldable phone that we will see in 2020. Finally, a look at a couple of mid-rangers. We generally don't cover LG devices since most of you don't seem to be interested in them, but the new Velvet series from LG has piqued my interest. The water drop style camera design is a refreshing change from all the rectangular camera bumps out there. And from the leaks that we have seen so far, LG seems to have spec'd this out pretty decently for a mid-ranger. A 765G chipset, 3 rear cameras, so pretty much what we would expect from a mid-range device. Let's now hope that they price it accordingly as well. We have also heard rumors of the OnePlus Z, a mid-range phone that's supposedly packing the MediaTek Dimensity 1000. This mid-ranger was rumored to be launching alongside the OnePlus 8 series. Heck, we even covered it in detail in our OnePlus 8 leaks video, but seems like that didn't quite pan out. Fingers crossed, OnePlus hasn't scrapped the plan and we see a smaller mid-range device from OnePlus pretty soon. Now there are a few more phones that I explicitly didn't mention here, like the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro. They have already been out. We've even made a video around it, but thanks to the lockdown we haven't yet been able to get our hands on a review unit. Looking forward to testing them out. Same goes for the second generation iPhone SE. I want to pick one up, see if the externals of the iPhone 8 still hold up in 2020. Now we do have dedicated first impressions videos on the iPhone SE as well as the OnePlus 8. Links to those up here as well as down there in the description. Of course, after that we have the regular releases like the Note series, the Pixel 5s and the next generation iPhones. Now those releases are quite some distance away, so it didn't really make sense for me to include them in this video. Oh, and I almost forgot about the Mi 10. We already have our hands on a Chinese unit. Review of that dropping soon, but I'm excited to see what price Xiaomi introduces it here in India. So that's about it for all the upcoming smartphones that I am most excited for. Did I miss out on any one of them? Let us know through the comments below. Also, which one of these phones are you the most excited for? Again, let us know down there. If you did end up liking this video, then please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and of course, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks for sticking around till the end, guys. Cheers!